understand what I'm saying.
What we're missing is the talk about Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks.
Hey, by the way,
Guido.
Did you see the baby Jar Jar picture?
No, is it?
No, I didn't see it.
Yoda.
I'm sending it to you right now, buddy. Baby Jar Jar.
Okay.
You better not be taking a picture of your pants.
It'll make you throw up.
Oh, it is a Guido.
I'm telling you, Illuminati. Listen to what I'm telling you guys.
The beautiful people. The
Hey,
beautiful people.
just so if you didn't know, it's the final countdown. Hey, what's up?
What's going on?
You got to make some noise if you're going to play the guitar. Seriously.
Yeah.
It's just lagging. Sorry, guys. It wasn't coming through. Just a lot of lag.
It'll
A
play
lot of
a
lag
lag.
and a lot of bantha milk.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of lag.
Yeah, for sure. Joey's lagging. He showed us something, then it disappeared.
I was showing you baby Jar Jar.
I didn't get Baby Jar.
Well, he gone. Either way,
Here you go.
Here.
we can hear you.
What's up,
for
fellas?
sure.
What's
That's all
going
you
on?
need.
So, it is episode 6. How you guys feeling about that?
Feeling
Pretty
good.
good.
We're getting closer to the final trilogy with our podcast.
Final countdown.
So it's all downhill.
It'll be the worst 3. Yeah, it'll be the worst 3 episodes we've ever done.
except for 8.
Dang, that was
Imagine-
early.
Stabbing.
Oh, am I back? No, I'm not. I see you
No,
guys.
you're not back.
Joey, you're a still frame picture.
Hey.
What are you doing?
It's me talking
Yeah.
behind my picture. I'm really sitting in my tub.
It's a Tiger King interview.
So while we're waiting on Joey's camera to catch up with his mouth, we are the Marauders, and we've been doing this podcast. Obviously, this is our 6th episode. We have been having a great time. Hopefully, you have been having a great time. If not, nobody said they haven't. So far, we're good.
And guess what? We're still going to just keep doing it. So, sorry.
Hey. So, our sponsor for this week is Eric's Pharmacy. I don't know if they know that yet or not. Just kidding. So, Eric's Pharmacy is a great place here, and so they've been supporting all the stuff that we do on some of these channels, and they are definitely a great place to go to. Great people. I actually know some people that work there. They're always cool, always nice. So be sure to go check them out. If you don't have a place, that's the place to go.
Eric's Pharmacy is the place. Eric is.
There
Oh, what
we
happened
go.
with Joey?
I think he just left so that he can come back. He's scared of what's about to happen.
That's right.
I'm scared about it.
So
Go down.
if nobody has seen any of the pictures we posted or was there for last week's episode, this is going to be the Trials of the Last Jedi. So, Ahmad or Ace, sorry, I'm going to catch it one time.
We
It's
will
gonna be
never get
Ace.
that right.
Who's back?
Back.
Gotta fix it. There we go.
Sometimes you just need a good, hard stop and start over.
Try it again.
That's the way it works. So anyway, The Last Jedi is what we're going to be talking about. And you guys are the jury. So you're going to tell us who has the best argument either for The Last Jedi or against it. No emphasis on either one because it's all subjective anyways.
And
So-
even though his last name is Kennedy, he's not biased. He's not related to Kathleen Kennedy.
That's my cousin.
Is that the surprise tonight? Is Kathleen Kennedy's the
Ooh.
surprise tonight?
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what you're talking about.
I hope you dress up like Kathleen Kennedy. I hope that's what's happening.
If you show up with hair, I don't know what to do.
Is that baby Jar Jar?
Baby Jar Jar.
Burn that thing.
So awful.
Burn it.
That's actually pretty creepy. I'd rather see Baby Jabba than that.
Yeah.
That's just proof that they didn't do everything perfect in the prequels.
Okay, so let's start out with the last episode of Clone Wars.
My goodness.
We are down. We've done the last 4 is what's going on. We've seen 2 of them, right? We got 2 more left.
That's right.
And it is getting ridiculous.
So
What do you guys think about it so far? Start with Joey.
Go ahead, Joey.
So I called somebody and I was telling them, I was like, if you have no interest in watching like the Clone Wars, watch these last 4 episodes. Like you totally can. You don't have to watch all of them, but these last 4 just completely coincide with episode 3. I heard somebody talk about this and I didn't realize this, but the reason that they do when it starts, for people that haven't seen it, they do like a green George Lucas like they do on the original trilogy, and it's called first one's part 1, and we already had part 2. We're getting part 3 tomorrow, and then on May the Force be with you, we're getting the last one. And what's awesome is Dave Filoni, since this is kind of the end of George Lucas's last thing he really had his hand in. I mean, I know we could say he had his hand in Mandalorian, but for real, Dave Filoni actually took deleted scenes and stuff in the scripts from episode 3 and pieced them together with this episode so that you could actually cut episode 3 with these 4 parts of the Clone Wars to get the full feel of everything. So, I mean, seriously, if you have no desire about these last 4 episodes are really good, and I think they're going to tie in Order 66 better than we've ever seen before in Star Wars cinematic.
Absolutely.
What about you? Yeah. What about you, Justin?
Me next?
Yeah.
Yay. Oh,
You next.
absolutely phenomenal. You want to talk about, I watched it 3 times in a row. I watched it once, the first time, called Ace, flipping out, watched it again, and then watched it a 3rd time. I kept watching it. I couldn't quit. I wanted more. I wanted more than 30 minutes, but also I love that it was 30 minutes. I love Darth Maul. I love Ahsoka. I just finished the book this last week, and I can't tell you how deeply rooted I am in that character, and I want these episodes to happen so quickly, like the next 2, but I also want them to be forever away so they don't ever happen and then end, and I don't get it anymore. So I loved this episode. Go ahead, Shane.
I mean, I agree with everything you guys said. I want to first say that I was completely wrong, and we are going to see Order 66. I didn't think we were going to get there, but I guess time-wise, we're basically there. So,
Bold prediction.
I don't have anything for if you get it right, though. I'll have to figure that out.
but I was definitely wrong there. I enjoyed the Maul and Ahsoka dynamic. Basically, I mean, I don't want to. Are we doing spoilers? Like,
Yes.
Spoilers. If you haven't seen it and you're watching this, you're out of luck.
So I enjoy the Maul Ahsoka dynamic, and basically she agreed to be his apprentice of sorts. I mean, and if he doesn't talk about Anakin and of what Anakin's going to do, and then basically she joins, and who knows what happens, which is what I love. And just watching these last episodes makes me want a Filoni, George Lucas. I mean, this is what we need in the series, guys. Direction. Give me these guys writing new Star Wars movies. That's what these episodes do for me. They're amazing. They're well written. They're thought through. Like, they're not half-assed like the last trilogy. Like, give me more of this.
No, absolutely. Well, talk about the mocap stuff with Ray Parker and Lauren Mary Kim, and just doing that lightsaber, that battle. That was probably top 1 in Star Wars, right? I mean, is that bold statement to make? Sorry, Ace, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I didn't start, bro, but I do want to say with that episode, it does have great rewatch value because in Star Wars, things have great rewatch value. And
I wish they would have gotten that the trilogy.
And also, what I agree with what Shane said. I do believe I'm going to be wrong with Order 66. I think we will get that, and because I do know how to say when I'm wrong about stuff. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Except for episode 8.
As far as the episode is concerned, this was possibly, I mean, I've already said on Facebook after watching it, this is the best content that I've seen from Star Wars. As far as like stuff putting weight on things, I really love the fact, like as soon as the episode opened, Maul dropped he dropped an Easter egg right then and there by telling Ahsoka about Sidious. I was like, whoa, like we doing it like this in the first couple of seconds? Like, really? This is how we finna get down? Like, it just immediately set the tone for the episode. And I just thought that the one shot where the glass shattered when they're just standing there, and just to think that, oh my gosh, at this moment in time, what Anakin is doing, what Obi-Wan is doing, like this. It just the intensity of the episode, of how tense I was, how emotional I was, because there was a time I'm not gonna lie, I almost shed a tear just like thinking about, my goodness, like this is serious, like things are about to happen. And I purposely did not watch the trailer for next week, because I mean it's 30 minutes. I don't need any spoiler for any kind. I don't want to know the title of the episode. I don't need anything but the episode. I'm already there.
Agreed.
Man, that's like what you were talking about with that glass explosion scene. There is a theory out there that during that scene, you can actually hear, I think, Sidious, his scream, the Sith scream. And that's supposed to coincide with whenever Anakin's making that switch, the transition to join. Whenever Darth Maul has his hand out and says, join me, to Ahsoka, supposedly that's going on at the same time. So I don't know how true that was. It's been some Reddit theories that I've seen where they'll line up the footage. I don't know.
I was thinking it would have been when he beheaded Dooku, because that would be where we're at. Because Ahsoka talks to Obi-Wan just after that, right?
No, she talked before.
I thought that was the previous episode.
Okay.
I thought it was a previous episode because they had just went off to save
right. And plus, they were in the war by the time after they talked. They were in the war, like everybody was gone.
Yeah.
So
That would make more sense.
Yeah, so that lightsaber scene, though, was ridiculous. And I didn't realize until I think one of you guys actually sent a link to us, that you could actually see where they actually motion captured that stuff, which is ridiculous that we've got to that point that they can actually do all that stuff, even with those animated series, instead of like everything's just computer generated normally.
Well, they've been doing that since Rebels. I think Rebels is when they very first started doing it, because I know a lot of the Inquisitor stuff was a bunch of mocap, and so I didn't know that
either.
Yeah, I believe so. And also, I think the scene with in Rebels with another character in Ahsoka was done with mocap.
Well, you see some signature moves in there from Ray Parker. You just see his stutter steps that he did whenever he was Darth Maul in the prequels. And then Lauren Mary Kim, did you guys know that she was also the one, the armorer in The Mandalorian? So she was not the voice actor, but she was doing the fighting for the armorer that we saw in The Mandalorian as well. And she's done some other stuff too. But yeah, it was so incredible. For those that don't know, that was the one doing the mocap for Ahsoka. Lauren Mary Kim was trailing around. I'll eventually get to it. I'm all around it.
The only other thing I'd like to address about the episode is, again, this goes back to a further episode you guys should check out where me and Ahmad talked about the difference between Rebels and Clone Wars. But in that one, I said what makes Clone Wars so much better than Rebels, well, one of the things that makes Clone Wars does better than Rebels, because I do like Rebels better. But what it does better is the evil character development. Darth Maul's just, you understand Darth Maul. You understand what he's trying to do better than, I would say, almost any villain in Star Wars that we've ever had yet. I think he's almost more fleshed out than even Darth Vader. I mean, it's, you know what his motive is, you know why he's doing what he's doing, and he hates the Emperor. He wants the Emperor to stop. I know he hates Obi-Wan, but I'm telling you, he hates the Emperor even more. Thus the reason on his deathbed in Rebels, when he's dying, what is he saying? His dying breath. He asked Obi-Wan, is this kid the one that's going to do it? Talking about Luke, and he's like, he's the chosen one. He's going to do it.
Well,
and what did Luke do? Luke did nothing, apparently.
Nothing.
Just to piggyback off of Joey, one of the things, especially with Maul, how he was saying that that's a very fleshed out character. One of the things that we have to understand is that's the character that basically George Lucas gave to Dave Filoni. And so he almost treated Maul like he did Ahsoka. He's very protective of Maul. Maul's arc through Clone Wars and Rebels was incredible, just like Joey said. So I believe that's why he gets that treatment and why he's so invested. And plus, Sam Witwer is just an incredible voice actor. He's incredible.
The very end, the end of that episode, when she has him trapped and the clones like wrap him up, and his his scream of realizing, oh my God, you don't understand what you're doing by trapping me. And I felt that. I felt that in his voice. Phenomenal.
What's y'all's consensus on who won who could if Maul was really trying hard, do you think he would have beat Ahsoka, or do you think Ahsoka would still win?
I think
okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say I think both of them had different things, different motives. You got to understand this is Ahsoka's first real fight back. Yeah. And then on top of that, with Maul gave up everything. Like you remember in this episode, he's still the leader of the Crimson Dawn. And so once he figured out what was going on, it was just like he dropped everything. Like when he abandoned the people, he was like, look, y'all on your own, bro. Like I'm out. Like, yeah, you have no clue what's about to happen. And so his brain was like in a totally different place, because at one point he, like you said, he thought he was going to have Ahsoka on his side, and then she just kind of like flipped out once he brought up Anakin. And the thing I loved is like when they were fighting, Ahsoka was like, oh, you better be glad Anakin wasn't here, because if you can't handle me, you would have been wasted a long time ago. And
I would say I think in just a full straight up fight at that moment, I think Maul would actually win. And here's what I think. I think Maul, he says the words, I'm going to give you your first lesson. So it tells me he's still trying to pull her to his side. And then he's trying to escape too in the process. I just don't feel like he's like, I'm going to kill you, and that's what I'm about to do. And so because of that, I do think still that Maul is the better fighter, but even though Ahsoka did win, and obviously she had some help there at the very end. So
I mean, the purpose of go ahead. The purpose of this whole thing was to get Anakin to Mandalore. And when it failed, at that point, he's done with this. He's ready to move on and go do his next thing. So, I mean, I don't think his heart's in it. I mean, obviously, he's teaching her a lesson. But, I mean, I think we see a different fight if Anakin actually shows up. Because that was his whole mission from the get-go, was to get Anakin and stop him from becoming Palpatine's servant.
He wanted to kill Anakin because he was Palpatine's puppet.
Yeah, he wanted to prevent that.
Which is great. The arc on Maul is amazing. That was my favorite part of the episode.
Stuff? I mean, come on. It's amazing when you think about stuff, but when we go into a series.
I'm getting worried.
It's just incredible. The whole thing was incredible. Whenever Maul was so distracted at the very end. There was a point in that scene whenever Ahsoka is on the end of that beam and he has the high ground. There's your, I mean, he did. He had the high ground. One swoop with his lightsaber, and she's falling. She's free falling. He was so distracted by, I got to get out of here. I think he was like, I don't need to kill her because I may need her if I can get out of here. And then he just got bested.
That high ground's just a myth. Tell birds that get hunted.
They busted that on Mythbusters, guys.
Hey,
the high ground, baby.
Justin, ask me what's in my pork cup.
What's in your pork cup?
It's not for children.
Uh-oh. Is it that? What's the green juice that Luke drank?
Oh, it's definitely that.
That's
the green booby juice.
So obviously we all went back probably to watch that, and you see that part in that movie, and it's grosser every time I watch it.
That was a realistic boob. That was a boob.
Ryan Johnson's one sick SOB.
Ryan Johnson wanted us to look at an alien boob, and he did it. And for that, he wins. Okay, there you go.
Somebody dared him to make it a PG-13 movie. He tried his best.
So what are our... Say it again, that Shane?
We don't want to upset Ace yet. We can't talk.
I'm fine, y'all. I'm fine.
So what's your come on, Blue Milk. I'm waiting.
What? But what's my what? It's lagging. I didn't hear it.
Oh, where we're going?
Bo, bo, bo,
Oh.
bo, 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 bo.
What? Do the thing.
Oh my
Protection!
It's only episode 5,
gosh.
guys.
We just need to make some audio for that.
I mean, come on already. I'm tired of doing it, guys. Can we find something else?
We need
I
a
just
video
want to
bumper for
guitar
that.
on, please.
So what's your bold prediction for this next episode? We'll start with you, Shane.
Oh, I mean,
Oh.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I mean, obviously we got more Maul goodness. He's got to escape. I have no idea. I'm excited for it. So I don't want to know. I just want to enjoy it.
I
'Cause
think we're gonna... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, good. You're good.
Sorry.
Quit apologizing and talk.
So I was just gonna say, I think we're gonna see all those soldiers. I can't talk. Soldiers. Hey,
The porg's already
What's in
getting you.
that
the pork talking now, guys.
the pork pocket. Pork pocket.
I think we're gonna have all those soldiers that has Ahsoka's face on them. I think they're all gonna turn on her, and we're gonna see it. It's gonna be glorious.
Bold prediction. They fight. They have to fight their way out with Maul. Rex has to kill. Yeah, Rex has to kill Jesse. Bold prediction.
My bold prediction is that Ahsoka is going to break out Maul.
Yep.
It's good.
They're gonna
All right.
together.
I'll see that.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm sorry. One thing I need to add about that. I think because I honestly believe that Anakin and Ahsoka will have another talk. I think she will talk to him while he's turned. She won't understand. Like, it won't put 2 and 2 together. But then she will start to remember the conversations that she's had with everybody else. Like with Obi-Wan, like his face when he was like, like Anakin cut his head off. So I think she's going to remember all that and think about everything Maul said, and then, of course, have to fight her way out and go and get him. So, yeah, she's going to get Maul out. But, yeah. So that's my prediction.
I got another one. I think we're going to see what happens to Yaddle.
Go
And
ahead.
we're going to see where Baby Yoda comes from. Yaddle's coming. Baby Yoda's
Hey,
coming.
no, but
It's Yoda's last.
hey,
Yoda's last attempt before.
You don't listen to that, okay?
Yoda did not play.
hey, but
Yoda
seriously,
did not play well. Yoda can do better than that.
We're going to see some Yaddle action. It's going to happen.
I don't know.
What happened? What
I
happened
could-
to Damn
could-
Yaddle?
hey,
Nobody
but
knows.
seriously, Ahsoka drops her sabers. Do you think she gets them back?
No, I think that goes straight into the book of Ahsoka.
I was wondering because in the book they talk about her having the other color.
I assume you said no. It was all lagged. I don't know what was.
Yeah,
in the
that's
book.
what he said.
in
Did
the
you
Ahsoka-
watch the thing? Did you watch the thing? Did you watch the thing I sent you about Dave Filoni whenever he was talking about the color change of the sabers? Did you watch that small clip of anything? Probably not. No one does watch anything I share. It's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jared. It's fine.
I'm trying to tell you.
Why don't you explain it for the
Well,
viewers?
well, if you're going to call us out here, I mean, I think that I think we're going to see Order 66 in this next episode. I would, and if not, I think our last episode will be Order 66, and I think we are going to see Darth Vader actually before. It's going to be like the last clip we see is Darth Vader walking through somewhere and showing up. That's what I would say.
I think we could see Darth Vader. We're definitely not going to see Darth Vader, I think, with Ahsoka.
No.
No.
So-
not him in the Vader suit. I think he will be Vader, like the Anakin.
Unless they do like a like way later kind of deal. But yeah, I'm with you.
Ahmad, are you talking, or Ace? I'm sorry. Are you talking like when she calls Anakin? Is it going to be like he did with
Padme.
Padme, where he's like the Jedi have betrayed it?
Yes.
Is he going to do that
Yes.
to Ahsoka? I can see that.
Yes, I think
Okay.
he's gonna be like, I finally understand why you left.
Like
And
you were right.
Yes.
Yes.
So what did
You think so? He's
Anakin-
going to do like a lasty thing, like get out of here, go on. Get.
what
Well,
did
that's White Fang. Do a White Fang.
what did Anakin do with her lightsabers to modify them? Did he just like meditate with the crystals to make them change colors? Did he? I mean, he's just like he's a master fixer.
I mean, he just found some crystals.
You think he changed the crystals?
He is a master with lightsaber. No, he changed the crystals. Dave Filoni talks about it. If you want to watch the thing I sent you.
I'm setting you up, Justin.
I'm so
Tell
mad
them-
at
tell
everyone.
Talk about it.
See you next week.
I really,
Hang on.
I really wish you could hear us.
I expected him just like
Just
to
go on.
blank out again and go turn his light off.
Justin, can you explain to the people what you watched?
I'm over it now. Go watch it if you want to find it. It's on Twitter. I shared it. Go to my Twitter page at Justin B Rob ROBB. Go find it yourself.
Hashtag plug.
Okay.
Hashtag plug.
We're
No,
done
it
with
was
this
great.
topic.
He talked about how Anakin, the whole thing that he was trying to do, that he was trying to portray is that side of how Anakin understood Ahsoka so much and he cared about her, and he was a little overpowering at times with her being his Padawan, but he cared about her enough that he continued to work on them, knowing that she would come back to him one day. And so he was tying in a whole lot of really cool things with the sabers and the color changing of the sabers. That's why I think, like, I understand that in the Ahsoka book they're green, or she talks about the green hilts that she or the sabers that she had, but this part wasn't written yet, if that makes sense, before that book was written.
Oh yeah.
So I think that we maybe that was it. Maybe we don't see those because she does have to build her own sabers again. But she did have sabers in the book and left them at the grave. This is in the first chapter. I'm not ruining anything. She left them at the fake grave, where that way people would assume she's dead. So I don't know. Maybe she does have them. I don't know.
What's with people leaving their
I don't know.
lightsabers in graves?
I don't know.
It's just the Jedi thing to do, man.
I saw a great meme.
I don't know.
It was General Grievous with a metal detector out by where Rey dropped the lightsabers.
This is going to be a fine addition to my collection.
That's just like that one that Justin sent to us where Kylo throws it from Rise of Skywalker. He's on the old Death Star. He throws the lightsaber out, and then Grievous, you see him run by him.
Dives into the water. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
it happened.
I'm telling you,
Uh-oh.
I want some Grievous. I need a whole Grievous series.
I
Just
would
General
watch-
Grievous collecting lightsabers. That's all I want.
I want the comic
I want a comedy. I want it like the style of The Office, and I want Grievous to be the Michael Scott, and I want him just collecting lightsabers. That's all he does.
That
By
would
the
be pretty
way,
awesome.
Shane, so obviously I don't read a lot of the comics, but I was searching through the intros webs today.
Yeah.
And did you know that they made a comic where it was Han Solo basically meets up with Indiana Jones?
I have not read that one.
That would be
It's
pretty
great.
cool.
That's
great.
my tea.
It's awesome.
There is
We need more of that connectivity.
there is a really short
Yes.
small book out there. Like it's basically just tells of Star Wars universe. It's like myths and stuff. And in one of them, it explains more of Grievous's origin story. They don't outright say Grievous's name, but it talks about a guy who basically loved robots, thought they were like the pinnacle, and then wanted to be one. And it goes into his like transitioning as he slowly like changes out an arm and changes out something else, and he basically becomes a robot. It's pretty freaking cool.
I saw that on Black Mirror once.
Yeah, basically. Super short book. Great read, though. Like, I mean, I listened to it in like 4 or 5 hours. I mean, you could read it in probably one, if you don't want to do that. So, anyway.
It's the story of Michael Jackson.
I seen it.
Okay, you ready?
I seen that on Russian Dolls, which leads me to the next thing. I'm just kidding. I'm not talking about it.
No, you-
Knows being angry.
Let's pretend I'm
did-
Bob Iger. I'm mad about it.
Can we all just agree that Ace is going to lose before he comes back? Can we just agree?
Let's just go ahead and get it over with.
Can we just
Yeah,
say done? And that way he comes back.
Let's call it done.
He just
Okay.
looks dumb when he comes back.
Last Jedi sucks. We move on.
Okay.
That sucks.
Let's talk about episode 8 or 9 now. That one blows.
Oh,
too.
hey, what we should have
Okay.
done. what we should have done is told him that we're discussing 8, but talk about like 7. That way, we're all talking about something totally different.
Let's talk about 9. Let's just talk about 9.
We could have.
Okay, guys. So here we go. This is what everybody's been waiting for. By the way, let's take a quick second before we do this. We are the Marauders, and if you don't know what's going on, we have a podcast that we're doing pretty much every week. We are on Thursdays at 7:30. Great bunch of guys. Ahmad is gone for the second, but he'll be back, and you'll see why. Probably we're going to be surprised, most likely. But hopefully you're enjoying this. Be sure to like wherever you're at, subscribe to wherever you're at, follow us so that you can know when we go live, because hopefully you enjoy this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching and sticking around with us so long. But let's get on to The Last Jedi. I'm going to call this into order.
Oh,
you ready?
Hey, let's pay attention to that background you put too. It's a nice background.
I know.
The Senate.
Yeah, the Senate. Yeah, I like this one.
Hey, if
Which
we're in the
character
Senate,
am I?
I was gonna say, can Shane be Princess Amidala right now?
Oh, he looks like her.
Can I be her assistant?
Show me your teeth.
Yeah.
Justin's into the teeth, not me.
Oh, no, your teeth are.
For the podcast audience, Justin is the teeth guy. I'm just a Padme guy.
Who are you,
Your
Justin?
teeth are too good.
Who
Who am I? I don't know. I must be. I don't know who I want to be. I'll be Bail. I'm Bail Organa.
We've all seen the Family Guy episode where the guy jumps onto the pile of teeth, the tooth fairy. He's like, that's Justin.
Who are you?
Oh,
What?
holy
Wait,
crap.
who are you, Joey? Who are you?
Oh, I'm Guido. I'm part of the Illuminati. I'm sitting right down here. I'm ready to judge.
What in the world? Who is this? Who do we have here? This is ridiculous.
He's ready for business.
Can we turn his camera off? This is ridiculous already.
For those of you that are listening to our podcast,
You
Ace
took
showed up dressed to the.
Let's look at this.
Give me a break.
Take a look at this. Yeah,
Dressed to the
your
nine.
focus is a little
Is
off. Yeah.
Are we shooting an Ace Kennedy video right now, or what is happening?
He's looking all slick.
Oh, God.
He even got glasses on Baby Yoda. That doesn't count. Can't make Baby Yoda all cute.
I did not even see that. That is awesome.
He's trying to distract from his points.
Arguments.
Doesn't work.
Okay.
Okay, so let's get this thing started. How about that?
Let's do it.
Court's in session.
Court is in session
All
for
right.
sure.
Good Judy.
So we're going to start with the defendant, which would be Ahmad or Ace, because he's defending The Last Jedi, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what
Yes,
we're going
sir.
with. And Shane is going to be against The Last Jedi.
I don't know how I got roped into this. Okay, I want to make that abundantly clear.
I would like to give my opening statement, sir.
Oh my God!
Go for
Here
it.
we go. And the
Let's
Oscar
start with
goes
it.
to.
Right.
Not Ace or Ryan.
Being a Star Wars fan is a gift and a curse.
Oh God.
The same movies that bring us together are the exact same movies that tear us apart. When George Lucas created the space opera, he had no clue that it would turn into one of the driving forces that revolutionized the film industry as a whole, while becoming some sort of a religion that billions of fans across the world would grow to love. Oh my gosh, y'all so immature.
We're letting you do it. Do your thing, man.
Hey, he's trying to do his opening statement. Let him go.
Right. The Last Jedi is one of the most divisive films with the Skywalker saga, to say the least. I have been tasked to defend the integrity of the film. Again, as Star Wars fans, I know that the task is too great to convince anyone to change their minds about the film, but I do hope to make people respect the film. The direction of the director, Rian Johnson, took the story and how the film is key to serving the overall story of the Skywalker saga. Thank you.
I definitely, before we go any further, I could not keep myself from laughing. I literally had to mute myself. That was so great.
Yes, I'll give
Good
you an
job.
answer.
I appreciate that.
What you got? What you got, Shane?
Oh wait, I thought he was going to go through his whole spiel. Is it my turn?
That's my opening statement.
That's the opening statement.
You're just going to state what you're about to do.
Okay. My thing. I love me some Star Wars, guys. I don't like attacking anyone that likes a film. people love 8. I'm fine with that. I don't like to be wrong, but I hate to say it, you are wrong. 8 is a terrible film. Okay, it's terrible. From the start, it's a terrible film. Now, we're going to back up for 1 second. Coming into this new trilogy, Disney and Lucasfilm had a huge problem, and that was the legacy issue. They wanted new characters, they wanted new Star Wars stories, but we still had Luke, Han, and Leia. So bring in JJ. We get episode 7. He sets up, where we're going. We know what happens with Han. But Disney did no justice to Luke, Han, and Leia in this whole thing. They blew it. Basically, they took 4, 5, and 6 and threw it out the window. Leia's in the exact same place that she was in 4, 5, and 6. She's leading a tiny rebellion that's struggling, that's literally on their last leg. So we've learned nothing. Luke Skywalker has spent his entire life trying to rebuild the Jedi. He can't even train one Jedi. Okay? And then let's talk about Han, who abandoned his children and is out smuggling again. Okay? So we do episode 7. People like it. Okay? People really like episode 7. Most people. And then we bring in Rian Johnson, who instantly throws out the script that JJ had written and decides that he is going to take a bold new take on Star Wars. Okay? And so he throws out everything and he writes episode 8. And we get the biggest steaming pile of garbage that has ever been released in the Star Wars universe. Okay? Ever. So I'm gonna read you a quick statement, because I know a big part of the mods thing is we're going to talk about what JJ didn't do. So JJ wrote scripts for 8 and 9. Then Ryan arrived and rewrote he rewrote Last Jedi entirely. Ryan didn't keep anything from the first draft of the 8 script. So Ryan was entirely responsible for the hunk of garbage that we got in episode 8. He took the directions that we had taken in 7 and he threw them out. And he was different for the sake of being different. I don't think that fits when you're in the middle of a trilogy. If Ryan wanted to be different, he should have had his own film. Don't come into the middle of a trilogy and rewrite the entire thing in the middle of it. It makes no sense cinematically. So my argument is going to be that it was poorly written. It was poorly directed. It made no sense in the middle of a trilogy. No sense.
Are you done?
I'm done.
Okay, good. So, in my opinion, I believe the two people who are at fault for the dissatisfaction of the films, number one is JJ, like you said, and the other one is the viewer. Now, you have to understand something, right? As Star Wars fans,
blame people not being smart enough. Is that what we're going to do now? You're smart enough to enjoy the movie?
Did I let you get your statement out, sir?
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. I asked you where you done. Thank you.
I'm not done. I haven't even started.
All right. So back to what I was saying. The reason why I blame the viewers is because as Star Wars fans, like I said, it's a gift and a curse. But you look at when we see any sort of material for any Star Wars stuff, whether it be interviews, whether it be trailers, whether it be books or anything, we begin dissecting it. We begin to speculate to a point to where once that speculation is over, when we do get the product that Star Wars puts out, it's hard for us to accept that because we've already believed in what we speculated. Now, the reason why I blame JJ is because we got to look at everything that happened in The Force Awakens before we can even get to The Last Jedi. So, I named JJ as one of the people because of the displeasure of the films. A lot of fans argue that JJ used The Rise of Skywalker to fix The Last Jedi, and I do not believe that as well. So here's the things that were set up in The Force Awakens. Leia and Han, like you said, they were separated. You had R2-D2 that was off in the corner, shut down. Han and Chewie were separated from the Falcon. Carrie Fisher arguably gave the worst performance as Leia. And lastly, we waited 30 years to see Luke Skywalker, and he was in 3 minutes of movie, and he was, why was he off doing whatever? What was he doing?
According to Rian Johnson, he's being a douche on an island in the middle of nowhere.
Is it according to Rian Johnson, or did he pick up the film? Are you going to answer my question?
He threw out the script and wrote his own. So it's according to Rian Johnson. Right. He's standing on an island being a douche. Rian Johnson, no one else.
No, that's not true. You understand that there are Kathleen Kennedy. There is the story group.
Kennedy now.
Yeah, that you know she is the one that's responsible for saying yes or no to movies, right? You do understand that, right? I would think that you would know that from being a Star Wars fan.
Who wrote the script?
What about the script? The script is incredible. The script is the best written script in Star Wars.
Oh, the best.
Yes, it is. What I love about the script, number one, is that what JJ did is, what Ryan did was he took a lot of things in the movie and he foreshadowed things that were going to happen later on. So the thing is that, let me ask you this, Shane. Is it that you didn't like Luke Skywalker because he wasn't the Luke Skywalker you wanted to see, or you just didn't like Luke Skywalker?
That's a dumb question.
No, it's not. It's a very valid question.
That's a dumb question. I didn't like what Rian Johnson did with Luke Skywalker.
Why is that? Joey has something to say. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, the issue is we're saying, and this goes back to his legacy argument, we're saying that Luke learned nothing in the prequels. He learned nothing.
He wasn't in the prequels.
Okay, 4, 5, and 6. Sorry.
I'm just making sure we're on the same page here. That's all.
I'm just saying we're acting like he learned nothing. He literally, remember Return of the Jedi, which is your favorite movie, and Return of the Jedi, you have Luke Skywalker saves his father, and then in The Last Jedi, he won't even do anything to help his sister. He was like, I'm just going to pout here on this freaking island and not even help my sister. And also, I also tried to kill my freaking nephew in his sleep. That is not the same. That's not Luke.
It's very much Luke. Let me explain how.
No, it's not.
Are you going to let me explain?
One at a time. One at a time.
After I say one more thing, it is very much Luke because I've totally forgot what I was going to say. Give it to me. Go. I got something to say after you're done.
Okay, so you're saying that this is not Luke Skywalker. This is very much Luke Skywalker. This is the Luke Skywalker that fits this story. And this is why I say that. And first of all, let me ask y'all a question, right? Did Luke finish his training? I'll wait. He didn't. He didn't finish his training. Every time he went back to finish his training, Yoda passed away, right? So then after that, anything that Luke knew about being a Jedi, he either picked it up on his own when he went finding relics, because Shane, you read the book of the Legend of Luke Skywalker, right?
No, I read it. Yeah.
All right. So he went everywhere he went and picked up different relics, which is why he brought all of that stuff back to the island. So this is what I'm saying, right? Hold on. And the Empire Strike Back. What did Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda tell Luke? They told him to go and kill his father. They had a conversation. He said, you have to go face your father. Luke said, I can't kill my father. And Obi-Wan said, well, I guess the Emperor's already won. So here's the thing. This is why this movie was important. What this movie told us was it told us that the Jedi Order needed to die. No Star Wars fan wants to hear that, but we're in a time where we're watching Clone Wars where we see why the Jedi Order needs to end. Because of the fact the ways of the Jedi tell us that we're supposed to not have any connections and we're supposed to eradicate evil. So the thing is that Luke was actually, when he was going to kill Kylo, he was actually doing what a Jedi should do, is not have an attachment to his nephew and kill him, because he was balancing the Force. That's what they told him to do when Vader was there. So the thing is that that's exactly what this movie was telling us. Kylo said it through the whole movie. Let go the things of the past. Kill it if you must, so that you can become who you need to. Go ahead, Joey.
Go for it, Joey.
Thanks for proving my point. Yeah, they wanted him to kill Vader. He wouldn't do it because that's not who Luke is.
And did he kill Kylo?
And this was what I was going to say earlier. Rian Johnson, his very thing, and everybody will tell you this, he tried to do what you didn't expect. So he specifically made Luke what nobody thought he would be, because it made no sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Even Mark Hamill thought it made no sense.
Mark Hamill is Mark Hamill. He's not Luke Skywalker. That's the character.
He's closer to Luke Skywalker than any of us.
Time out. So this is what I'm saying, right? When we talk about saying that he's not supposed to, they sent him to kill Vader, right? And like you said, he didn't, because he came to his senses. What was the lesson that Yoda gave him in the Last Jedi? His last lesson that he gave him, he said, "Listen, go ahead. You gonna answer?"
No, go ahead. No, go ahead. I had something else.
So basically, what Yoda told him, he said, "Listen, the reason why Yoda electrocuted that tree and burned it up was because he wanted to he told Luke, first of all, again, the foreshadowing that we talked about, everything that was needed she already has it. And the thing, what he told him, he said, listen, you sitting up here moping about Kylo. You lost Kylo. Okay, cool. You lost Kylo, but you don't need to lose Rey. And so the thing is that what your problem is Luke said, what I tried to tell Kylo was I wanted to give him all of my positive traits. And Yoda said, no, failure is the best teacher. So you need to tell him about your positives and your negatives. That is the problem with the Jedi Order. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, they think it's leading to the dark side. Every great Jedi has dipped into the dark side, even a little bit, even Yoda.
You said earlier that he went and read all the texts, but in the movie, he didn't read any of those texts.
When did I say that? When did I say that?
Earlier when you were talking about
no, I didn't say he went to go read the text. What I said was he went and got other relics. He went to different places gathering Jedi relics. I didn't say he read the text. And I know he didn't read it because Yoda even asked him, did you read them? Because they weren't page turners.
That's what I'm alluding to.
Okay, so but what we're saying here, Luke never had he didn't finish his training. So this is the thing, though. This is the thing. In this trilogy, what we need to understand is Luke Skywalker here is Obi-Wan Kenobi in this trilogy. He's not Luke Skywalker. See, the reason why, and the only reason we get the Luke Skywalker that we wanted to see growing up is because Obi-Wan Kenobi had to sacrifice himself. So in this trilogy, Luke Skywalker had to sacrifice himself so that Rey could be who she needed to be. And that's what he did. Yes, sir.
I think they wrote the story, like you said. They thought that's what needed to happen for the story. Because from a story standpoint, I even heard the writers that talked about when they were writing the original script, they said the problem they had is every time Luke Skywalker came on the screen, you cared more about Luke Skywalker than the main people. And so that was a problem they had. They were like, how do we deal with Luke? Because you just want to know what Luke does, and that's all you care about. And I understand that.
I understand that too, because this is the character that we grew up on and that we love. I understand that. And listen, Luke Skywalker is my favorite character in Star Wars, but this Luke Skywalker was needed for the story of this particular, for the story of this trilogy. This is the story that needed to happen. Here's the thing. I guarantee you there's two things that's going to happen, right? If they ever give us a Sebastian Stan Luke Skywalker movie or a Luke Skywalker show on Disney Plus, what's going to happen, one of two things. One, somebody's going to say, oh, they just doing this to fix The Last Jedi. Or they're going to be like, oh, now we finally get the Luke Skywalker that we've always wanted to see. Why is it in Star Wars that if you like one thing, you can't like the other when this is all one story?
But that's our whole point, though. This story is bad. This whole story of the new trilogy from beginning to end is really bad.
Joe, I understand that.
And we can give reasons. I mean, why the writing's bad. There's lots of reasons.
I mean, I've got like 17 points on why this movie is
okay. So let's take a second. Let's take a couple of points at a time so we can keep this a little more moving. So, Ace, you started, so I'm going to let Shane start with his. Shane, okay. You go ahead and give us 2 points, and then we're going to debate those 2 points.
Let's get it.
Well, I basically just broke the movie down, starting from the opening scene to the ending credits, and I just touched on different things. So we'll start with the opening scene. Well, I mean, we'll start with the bombers, okay? So the Resistance, they're in trouble. The movie opens. We got epic space battles, blah, 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 and we get all of a sudden new ships out of nowhere. We've done away with B-Wings and Y-Wings, and we have these ginormous flying fortresses that have no defense that are going to bomb a fleet, okay? So, well done, Rian Johnson. They look great up there. So the First Order comes out, they cut them to shreds, except for the one that's able to drop the bombs. So he drops the bombs, they destroy the ship, all right? Now Poe's in trouble. From the very minute, and I get, like, the plot has to advance the story, but Rian Johnson's whole plot doesn't make a lot of sense. We see things in Star Wars that we've never seen before. Okay, so the rebel fleet jumps, and here comes the Sith fleet, and we're tracking them now. So I'm not even
Through light speed.
right. I'm not even going to argue the tracking them through light speed. Whatever. Okay, so they come out of light speed, and they're just far enough that they can take shots at them, but can't do any damage. Okay, so we have an epic 2.5-hour slow speed chase through space with ships who happen to go the same speed the whole time. And all of a sudden, fuel matters. For the first time in Star Wars, we're going to run out of fuel. So now we're just going to stay really, really slow behind these guys and take pot shots at them for the next 2.5 hours while they slowly run out of fuel. The Rebel fleet doesn't conserve fuel. They don't take fuel from the smaller ships to the bigger ships. No. They just keep going slowly in one direction and slowly get picked off.
Okay, can I debate your opening scene there, sir? I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, go for it. And then we'll go on to the stupidity of Holdo.
Okay. So first of all, when you guys are talking about light speed chasing, if you refer back to Rogue One, when they were finding the Death Star plans, that's where the light speed stuff comes from.
And I said I'm not even going to go with that. I'm just saying.
I get it, but I'm just addressing everything that you brought to the table. So
I didn't argue on that point. So go ahead.
Okay. So the other thing is you're talking about the bombers. So let me get this straight, right? So in The Force Awakens, right, the biggest complaint of that movie, even though most people liked it, was that it was a very close comparison to A New Hope. Am I right so far?
Sure.
Okay. So you're talking about, so everybody's complaint was it was so much like A New Hope. So now you have somebody that tries something a little different than what you wanted to see. Not that it wasn't a Star Wars film, but what you didn't want to see. And so now all of a sudden doing something different is wrong. But let me hold on. Time out. Let me finish. The other thing is this, right? This movie is very close to Empire Strikes Back. Here are the similarities. Number one, Obi-Wan Kenobi lied to Luke. Yes or no?
Sure.
Okay. Luke lied to Rey. So then both films introduce force connection ability, right?
I'm talking about the bombers.
Okay. What do you want to know about the bombers? Because so you're trying to tell me when you watch that scene at the movies, when she caught that trigger.
That was stupid. It was already
that was the worst.
It was 10 feet past her, and she magically reaches down and grabs it.
Also,
Shane, it was in slow motion.
So fucking stupid. So stupid. The scene where
so there's nothing else stupid. There's no other stupid scenes in Star Wars. And
there are tons of stupid scenes from Star Wars. We're talking about Episode 8. We are.
But you're saying that as though there weren't any other stupid scenes. Oh God, let's get back to your point. Your other point was that the ships are so far apart and they can't do this and they can't do that. Let me ask you a question. Are you more concerned with the characters in Star Wars, or are you concerned about the ships? Which one?
I'm concerned with driving a plot that makes sense.
Are you going to answer the question?
I did. Drive a plot that makes sense.
So the plot is dealing with the characters of Star Wars.
Let's talk about characters. I'm so excited to see stupid Rose Tico. Awesome. The new Jar Jar. Bring her in. Okay. All of a sudden, she spins love interest because Rey has to go off and do her own thing. So let's talk. Just
like in Empire Strike Back, the characters were separated to go on their own missions. So again, that's the same similarity. So talk about the Empire Strike Back like that then too.
We get the epic Canto Bite scene where they go off and we get Shane. Now you really want to talk about Canto Bite? Hold on. That experience was.
You of all people, that the person that I know has probably read every book in Star Wars and knows how epic it is when they deal with the politics. So you're trying to tell, and this is the same kind of stuff they deal with in Rebels. This is the same kind of stuff they dealt with in the prequels. They are dealing with war. They're letting you know that just like when we were talking about the Jedi having a fault and bringing Anakin to be Darth Vader, this is another opportunity where they show. Yes, sir, Joey.
I was just going to say, we're not arguing the fact of the scene and what they did there. We're arguing how bad the writing was there. There was a lot of there's a lot of coincidentals, and there's a lot. So
like everywhere else in Star Wars, Joey.
Well, no, this is a constantly
talking about episode.
Let me get my points. I'm gonna get my points. I gave you
go
your
ahead,
points.
Go ahead.
So Rose, when they show up, all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, Ma said that he has a flower on his shirt, so he always has a flower on his shirt, I guess." Okay, cool. Then all of a sudden we're in the jail cell, and we just happen to be in the right jail cell with the third code breaker that's on this planet, and he just happens to have something to get out, and he happened to be sitting there waiting for them to get out.
Do you know why?
It's poor writing.
No, it's not poor writing. Do you know why? Do you know why he was in jail?
Okay, I give you your chance to talk, and you don't let me finish.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Are you ready?
I'm listening.
Okay, because you don't let me finish. I was finishing up my point. It's poor writing. All you have to do is take a little time, and you can easily come up with a better scenario than just, oh, he happens to be in the cell. Oh, he happens to have the card. Let's get out. Okay, yay, we're fun. And also, let's free all these horses and forget about the slave children.
What about the sewer in the middle of the prison that conveniently there for them to escape through? Yes.
And they didn't put the hatch back when they left.
And then what about the dogs? Like, now we have race dogs that we care about more than slave children?
Can I respond to him, Shane?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so again, answer the question. Is there not convenience factor in every other Star Wars film? Yes or no? Answer the question.
I'm going to go because I want to hear you. I want to hear all the convenience factors.
So it's magically. So you're trying to tell me in A New Hope when they got to the trash compactor that just wasn't just coincidence that was there, or when I don't know.
I gave you like 5 different things in one scene.
You gonna let me finish? I'll let you finish.
Okay, please go ahead.
The other thing. So you trying to tell me in the Rise of Skywalker that they just magically
we're on A Whole New Hope.
No. My question is my point. My point was that there were several movies that had convenience factors. Is that not what I said?
I know, and I asked you.
All right, so I'm giving them to you. I'm talking about another movie that has a convenience factor. So you're trying to tell me in The Rise of Skywalker, when they fell into the quicksand, that they just magically fell into the spot where they found the too. It doesn't matter. My point is, okay, and that's in a different movie. So I said in all Star Wars movies, there's convenience factors. And so that's my point. So that's
okay, guys.
Okay. So back to your. No, hold on, Jared, because I gotta finish his other point. He made a statement about the dude in the jail cell. The other thing that you said about Jude in the jail cell, right? The reason. Do you even know why he was in the jail cell?
Just as
he committed another petty crime within the city, so they put him there. He wanted a place to rest that he would not be bothered by the police. So what happened was when they came in there talking about getting on Snoke's ship, that was a big money score for him. So he made a deal to eradicate him being in jail.
Let's talk about the reason that Canto Bight happened, because Holdo can't tell the people who are being shot while they're slowly running away what's supposed to happen. Right. Holdo has to keep the secret master plan.
Yep.
So she can't tell them. So we have to drive this plot with the stupidity of I can't tell my troops what's going to happen because it's a big secret. Like, what are they going to do? Tell them what's going to happen?
Are you ready?
And they go off for Canto Bight is because Holdo's too big of a douche to tell them what her plan is.
Are you ready?
After we have the mutiny, which is asinine.
Okay, are you ready?
Oh, sure.
So to answer your question about why Holdo wasn't telling anybody her plan. So again, this story is about making sure that the characters move forward. So the whole point here is that
about driving his terrible plot.
Are you gonna let me finish?
You gotta let him finish.
So Poe in this story is supposed to become the leader of the resistance because Leia has already been trying to give over control to him. You know that because you know what happens in the next movie. So, and as far as Holdo and her plan, the reason why she didn't tell anybody what was going on, because again, this is the first time that they have ever been tracked in light speed. The only people that know how they are able to do that are Poe, are Rose, are Finn, and Leia. So during that, she believes that there is a mole on board. And so the thing is that Poe was already demoted because of the fact that he already got people killed. He is no longer in leadership. He was the only person asking what was going on. Nobody else was asking what was going on. So the thing was that, excuse me?
That's convenient. No one else, an entire ship that's slowly being shot, is asking what the plan is.
Because everybody else is following leadership. You're right. Poe is the hothead here.
Rebels. They're rebels. They're not well-trained soldiers. It's a group of rebels.
And there's only a few of them left. And there's only a few of them left. They know
our stupid plan falls apart.
They do know the plan. They were told the plan in the very beginning that they needed.
They weren't told the plan.
They told the plan. They weren't told that they were going to board extra ships. No, they didn't tell them that, because then think about what already happened in the movie, Shane. What did Rose say that she had to do earlier? What did Rose say she had to do earlier?
You tell me. What did she have to do?
Rose said she had to shock everybody earlier for people trying to get on the escape pods because they was trying to break out. So the thing is that it was in a dire state to where they were losing people by the minute. So again, and then when Leia went down and they introduced Holdo as the leader, they had a plan in place. They didn't need to know the intricate details, and they were the only ones that didn't ask that question. So okay, what else?
For God's sake. Okay, so I mean, we've touched a little on Luke. We know how I feel about Luke.
Okay. So let's let Ace get a couple of points in. Other than you throwing some at him. Ace, what do you got for us?
Well, no, I want to hear what he has to say about Luke, because I mean, pretty much, man, I want to respond to what he's saying because I'm defending this film.
Luke is really convoluted for me. The whole Luke storyline is frustrating to me. I mean, we have the legacy issues. I understand that. But if the legacy characters were such a problem for the writers of 7, 8, and 9, then they should have just not had Luke, Leia, and Han in 7, 8, and 9. If you're not going to capitalize on having those 3 stars, then don't have them in the movies. So we get Luke, and whatever. Ahmad wants to argue he didn't finish his training. Whatever. I read the Luke Skywalker book. All right, I know what Luke did. I read 40 years of history that Disney threw out the window because they're stupid. So Luke Skywalker, he starts his academy. He's training Jedi. Okay, he can't complete one, but he's training Jedi. He starts having dreams that Kylo's going to turn dark. Okay. So one night he sneaks into Kylo's room and pulls out his lightsaber, but chickens out and decides not to kill him. I love that, Joey. Okay, so here's my thing. If Kylo Ren turned dark because Luke Skywalker raised his lightsaber to cut him down, why did we already have the Knights of Ren? Because the Knights of Ren helped Kylo destroy Luke's temple and killed the rest of the Jedi. So why did Kylo already have a group of cronies if he wasn't already dark?
He was already dark. You obviously didn't watch that scene. In that scene, he said that when he went to go read him, he didn't know that he was that far gone with what Snoke had put into his head. So that was already established. And here's the thing. I'm right there with you as far as like what they didn't do our original OGs the right way. That's from jump. I mean, that was part of my point is that JJ is the one that started this story. And regardless if Ryan took that other script or not, here's the only thing that was actually consistent about these 3 films. We knew that number 1 was supposed to be about Han Solo. We knew that the second one was supposed to be about Luke Skywalker. We knew that the third one was supposed to be about Leia. So the thing is that when you put somebody in, you cannot blame the middle person for what the first person set up. And the thing is, if JJ really wanted the story to be consistent with what he had established, then he should have stayed on in the beginning in order to through the whole thing. He chose to leave.
He left them direction for 8 and 9. Rian Johnson threw it out and wrote his own 8.
And there's nothing wrong with that, man. Listen, what I'm saying is this, bro. If somebody gave me, if my life dream, right, is to work in Star Wars, and if I get the opportunity, because here's the thing, what could have happened, Kennedy could have said, you know what, I see what you did here, but I actually like what JJ did with the story better, so let's go ahead and go with this. And then he would have had a choice if he wanted to direct it or not. But if it's okay, so what I'm saying is Rian Johnson does not make the final decisions. He did make the decisions on this film, but again, he can only do what the leaders of Star Wars allow him to do. So the thing was that if he read JJ's script, maybe he didn't like JJ's script. And then the other thing is this, right? We already see, like, my OG droid is R2D2. My dude was off in the corner, sleep the whole movie. And so what I'm saying is, I already don't like the way that he did Luke in The Force Awakens. So why would I then want to let him carry it over? Because here's the thing: we know what he did with Luke in the final movie. He still didn't have much of a part.
No, hold on. What he did with him in Force Awakens, granted, he did nothing. He did nothing because Luke, he left it open. It was an open blank canvas. And then 9, I mean, you don't really have much. He killed Luke. Luke was dead. Like, again, I don't like what he did with Luke. I wanted all the freaking ghosts to come back and fight Palpatine and do that at the end. But, I mean, it's kind of Ryan did.
But let me ask you a question, though, Joey, and Shane. All of you, I'm sorry. I don't mean it like that. But let me ask you a question. So we understand that Luke died in this movie, but Luke went out on his own terms. I think personally, for me, I would have personally liked him to go out on his own terms and instead of giving the kill to like Kylo Ren or the First Order. Because my thing is that no, Kylo is not that powerful to tell you. You're not going to tell me that Kylo's that powerful that he would kill Luke. So what else do we want from Luke? What else? What other way would we want Luke to go out?
We're not talking about Luke's death. I'm fine with the Luke projecting scene. Okay. You want Luke to project? That's great. He's so tired, but he takes the time out and to go talk to Leia, and like he gives us that emotional scene. Like, and then why doesn't he tell them, "Hey guys, I'm going to go walk outside and distract them. Why don't you guys go ahead and find an exit?" Like, so he just leaves them to assume that he's going to go out there and distract them. He doesn't tell them, so they have to wait for the shiny wolves to show them that there's an exit, and they should go find it. Like, this is what I'm saying. If you're there, you're going to project yourself, you're going to go there, you're going to create a distraction so they can leave, right? You take the time to go have an emotional scene with Leia, which I'm okay with. Right. It was neat. I appreciate that. But you're already straining yourself that much. Wouldn't you hurry up and get your ass out there so that you can make sure they have enough time?
I don't think so. I think see this is what I mean by the foreshadowing, right? So the two great lines that I'm talking about in the Last Jedi. First of all, Luke says to Chewie and Rey, he says, "So what exactly did you expect me to do? Go out there in front of the whole First Order with a laser sword and take them on?" And that's exactly what he did. The other thing that he said was, "I came to this island to die," and that's what he did. So here's the thing, right? As much as we complained about the Luke Skywalker we also learned how powerful Luke was. Bro, when he snapped and turned the Force back on and the stuff that he was able to do when he was sparring with Rey and just bust her in the head with that antenna, and then when she like tried to best him and he caught himself from falling, and then the fact that he projected himself in a whole nother place in order to cause a distraction, like, bro, when have we ever seen anything like that before?
Yoda was one of the most powerful Force users ever. He also was the Grand Master at the fall of the entire Jedi. When he went into exile, did he cut himself off from the Force and wait to die? No.
He didn't.
He waited because he knew that someone was going to come. And
but Yoda also didn't carry the same weight that Luke did. Luke's father was one of the reasons that the galaxy was in turmoil.
He ran the Jedi when they collapsed. He had a far bigger weight than Luke Skywalker had on his back.
The fall of the Jedi wasn't. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He was the leader of the entire Jedi Order when it collapsed. He had hundreds of chances to stop the collapse, and he walked into it. Yoda had more on his tiny little shoulders than Luke ever had on his.
So which one of Yoda's family members was the cause of that?
Yoda helped train the guy who did it. Yoda had him the entire time at his side.
So he trained Palpatine now?
We're talking
Yoda trained Palpatine?
Did Luke train? What we're talking about Vader. You said Luke's father.
No. Right. I said that was Luke had family members to be the cause of some of the destruction in the galaxy. He had a father and a nephew. So even after Vader was gone and the balance of the Force was there, he still had another family member, and he had the opportunity to kill him when he sensed that, and he chose not to do it because of the fact that he still had good in him. So my thing is that, again, we saw the most powerful Luke Skywalker ever in this movie. We just didn't see it the way we wanted him to. He went out there and did exactly what we're supposed to do. Go ahead.
Sorry. Here's my question. What in the movie, what did you not like? Let me ask you that. What did you not like about the movie? Because I can tell you love a lot of it. What did you?
So I'm gonna be honest. When the very first watch of this movie, I was a little confused because, again, just like everybody else that had some issue with The Last Jedi, there were some things that I didn't like. So when I went back and rewatched it, I knew the surprises. I knew the things that were gonna be there. So it was one of those things that so there's not much I don't like about the movie. There's a lot of things I dislike about some of the other movies, but it doesn't change my overall view of them. There's not much that I don't like in this movie.
Well, just so people don't think that all I do is hate on it. Let me tell you what I do like. I like the scene at the end with Luke. The throne room scene is great. Let me give a shout out. The fight scene in the throne room is how it's supposed to be. One camera shot, steady, not shaky, good moves. It's good. It's very good. So I just had to say what I liked so that people didn't think that all I do am a hater about it, because there are some good things.
I don't believe that. I do believe that from what I gather from you and from everybody here, again, Shane already stated from the jump, right? This is a Star Wars movie. We got more Star Wars. But at the same time, there's a lot more things that he dislikes about the movie than he likes. So the thing is with this, right? Star Wars encourages you. This is one of my earlier points, doing like Rian Johnson, is that it has great rewatch value. And so until we were tasked to do the trial of The Last Jedi, I probably wouldn't have watched The Last Jedi over. But it wasn't until doing this research and I began to listen to the dialogue that was going on. Plus, I know what's going to happen in the next movie. There are several things that they took from The Last Jedi that made it into The Rise of Skywalker. So I like the continuity that they tried to do from that point. In my opinion, I feel like that Rian Johnson took the story that was presented and then he made what he thought would connect with The Force Awakens. That's my opinion.
So look, I don't hate The Last Jedi as much as I'm saying that I hate it. Okay. I mean, I've spent hours watching people pick this.
Cat's out of the bag.
So, I mean, I don't enjoy the movie. Like, it's Star Wars. I love it. Some of the coolest scenes when she jumps through hyperspace through that ship.
Oh my gosh!
Visually, and this whole trilogy visually, the best.
Sorry, my sad violin for you.
So
that's an audio. That's an audio representation of The Last Jedi.
Convenient that when she jumps through the ship, that everyone in the hangar is okay. But anyway, some of the coolest scenes I've seen in the Star Wars film. And if we really want to pick apart every Star Wars movie, guys, we're not going to have trouble picking apart every Star Wars movie. The movies are not made for deep, in-depth plots. Like, they're fun. They're meant to be, and we can get a little more out of them than a lot of normal people because we have so much backstory and stuff like that. But my thing with this film is I feel like he came in and attempted to be different. And I don't think different is bad. But I think you can't come into a trilogy in the middle of it and try and establish something brand new. I think if Johnson started with episode 7, maybe I don't feel the way I do with episode 8. But we got JJ establishing all these things. Then here comes episode 8, and we just throw everything out. Snoke doesn't matter anymore. Rey's parents don't matter.
Time out. How did they? So answer this question for me because you keep saying it. What is it that he did that was so different? That like you keep saying that. Like what did he do that was so different?
Who, Rian Johnson?
Yeah. What did he do that was so different?
The whole film. He took everything they did in 7 and just tossed it out.
Okay, so let's I'm glad you said that. Let's do the connective tissue here.
We just started over.
We didn't start over.
Yeah,
You said what?
We kind of are starting over. I mean, because sorry, go ahead, Trey.
No, you're fine. I'm just trying to give my last point. Like, I felt like you gave your last point. I mean, I have a lot more stuff that we haven't gotten into because we don't have 2 days here. I'm just saying, I love Star Wars. I just feel like this whole trilogy, blame whoever the hell you want. JJ, Ryan Johnson, Kathleen Kennedy, Disney, George Lucas for selling this crap.
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, 100% Mickey Mouse. Blame the dollar and people's consumerism. Like, whatever, okay? Go into a trilogy with a vision. That is what I want, okay? You look at what we're getting right now with Clone Wars, a God-blessed vision, okay? I don't feel like there was vision with these 3 films. I feel like Disney was like, oh God, we just spent $4 billion, pump this crap out. And that's what they did. So blame whoever you want. But when you make a trilogy, you should know where you're going when you start. You should know how it's going to end. You don't tell me it's the Skywalker saga, and then we throw all the junk we did. We get the Luke we got. We get the original characters. You just didn't show. If you didn't want the original characters, then you shouldn't have had them in these films. And I feel like that's the problem. They didn't know what to do with them, so they just sidelined them. And then they just start throwing all this new stuff in there, and we get these new characters that we don't establish. And then when we do finally, like, we spent a whole year speculating on Snoke and Rey's parents. And then what do we get? Rey's parents don't matter. We cut Snoke in half.
And the Knights of Ren.
And the Knights of Ren. Like, we spend all this time, like, oh my God, where are they going to go with it? And then we go into this movie, no Knights of Ren. We cut Snoke in half. Rey's parents don't matter. Luke Skywalker's a hermit who cut himself off from the Force. Leia is suddenly the only one who can use cool Force powers, but then she's in a coma. We get Holdo, who can't tell people her plan.
She dies. She dies, and then wakes up and pulls herself in.
I'm just saying the movie was different.
So the movie is not different. The movie was established by J.J. Abrams. Everything that happened in The Force Awakens was taken and used in The Last Jedi. There's nothing it was. There's nothing that you can tell me about the Force Awakens that was not addressed in The Last Jedi outside of the Knights of Ren. But here's the thing, right? If the Knights of Ren was so important to the story, how come JJ didn't use them again when he got them back?
I agree with you. 100%.
Yeah, so this is awesome.
Am I defending JJ? No.
I don't think JJ did like the greatest job with 7 either. I like 7 the best. I do think out of the 3, 7's my favorite, hands down. But I don't think JJ Stevens started it out super great as well.
Correct.
But he said that's kind of go back to piggyback off Shane's point. That's what's so good about the Clone Wars is that not only do we get connectivity, but we get continuity. And
yes,
so again, when we talk about Maul, what is my favorite thing? Maul fits with Maul there, with Maul in Rebels, with Maul in Episode 1. And what does it do? It even connects through the whole trilogy. And we think it's going to connect even to the end trilogy, but it doesn't. It completely negates the whole Chosen One thing. What does that even mean anymore?
It doesn't.
I don't understand that.
Well, here's the thing. So I agree with everything you're saying. The reason why the Clone Wars feels so good is because we have material that we know what's going to happen with it. This is new territory here, which is why they wanted to end the Skywalker saga. The thing is that JJ did not do a good job setting everything up because, again, if our OG characters were that important, JJ should have did something different with them from the beginning. So again, you can't blame the middle guy for taking the story that was left and then projecting what he feels is the next move for the story.
We can blame the middle guy for his part of the problem. Okay, I have blamed everyone, literally everyone,
except for yourself.
Let's blame the top. Let's start the top, right? So Kathleen Kennedy, right? Kathleen Kennedy, and these are just facts, and I can understand her point. But like when Disney first bought the Star Wars franchise, there's a podcast with the director of Star Wars or of Disney parks, and they immediately started working on these parks, and they started working on like a cantina, like Mos Eisley, and like actually the original trilogy was going to be a part of the Star Wars parks. And Kathleen had a meeting with Bob Iger, and she explained to him that we need to think about the future and not the past. And I can't remember the exact quote, but from a financial standpoint, I get it. She wants to move forward, not focus on the back side of things. I disagree with it, but I understand her thinking on it. So I think this translates even further into this trilogy. I think Kathleen is not, she wants to get away from the original trilogies because she looks at that as that's old. We need to put new stuff into it. Now let's go back to the Clone Wars and Mandalorian, and we got a different people at the helm. I know Kathleen Kennedy's there, but she does not have the say in the stuff that she does in the other ones. So you got Jon Favreau, you got Dave Filoni, George Lucas coming in and helping them do stuff. Why all of a sudden are we all of us are so on board with any of this stuff versus the trilogy who is trying to kind of go against all this stuff that we knew, but Clone Wars and Mandalorian is just adding upon it, and we love it.
That's easy. That's an easy answer.
Okay, cool.
Number one, the reason why they have to go away from the OG characters because the OG characters are getting older. No, first of all, when they even once George Lucas talked about selling Star Wars, one of the things he had to convince Han Solo to even come back. Han Solo wanted to be killed in the original trilogy. So the thing is that to even get these characters, and then tragically we lost Carrie in this. So even if they wanted to try to include that, they weren't going to be able to do that. Mark Hamill is 64 years old when he did The Last Jedi. So the thing is that we had to transition out. Again, I'm with you guys. I wanted the original characters to be more involved, but the problem is they're getting older, and if we want to continue having the Star Wars to go forward, we had to get new characters. Now, to bring back your other point about the Clone Wars and stuff, the reason why the Clone Wars and stuff feels so good is because there's so much stuff around it that we are already familiar with, that's already established. Like we already have, this is in between. So I believe, and I'm hoping that Dave Filoni and them are in a position that they can then make something like the Clone Wars for the last trilogy to fill in those gaps for us so that we get the cartoon version of finding out how Palpatine came back, to find out what Luke has been doing. Like, I hope we get those same type of stories that we got for the original trilogy and the prequels so that we can fill in those gaps because, again, the Star Wars universe is that big.
And look, Ahmad, I hope that happens, but let me make a bold prediction. Justin, you got my bold prediction?
I don't know. I'm lagged so much all night. I don't know.
My bold prediction is,
go ahead.
And I will say if I'm wrong in the future from however long it takes, but I don't think there's anything.
I'm going to hear. I'm going to play.
Okay.
Oh, God, we get a violin bold prediction.
Bold prediction.
My bold prediction is I don't think there's anything they can fill in to make this stuff worth a piece of, you know what?
And I disagree with your opinion, but again, that's your opinion. I disagree because I think part of the issue that a lot of people had is the fact that we didn't get. See, it was interesting, right? Another thing that sent everybody into an uproar because when we got the Rise of Skywalker, one of the things that we saw was Palpatine was a clone, and so the thing was that we didn't find that out in the movie. We found that out through the book. So the thing is that if we were able to have the visual representation of what actually took place within those spaces. Why did Han and Leia break up? What happened when Luke went and trained Kylo and the people? What, like, all of that? When did Kylo meet the Knights of Ren? How did Snoke seduce Kylo? Like, if we got to visually see that in the same style of the Clone Wars, brother, I think that would work.
And I agree.
Hey, real quick.
Okay.
Let Justin answer this real quick.
Okay, Alex says, I respect both arguments. He backs Ahmad on this, but he agrees that the through line for the trilogy was non-existent. As he said before, he loves each movie individually. As a trilogy, it's lacking. His favorite thing from The Last Jedi is how incomplete The Last Jedi was. Oh, no, he didn't say that. I added that last one.
It's true, though.
Oh, there it is. The Force
it is.
connection with Rey and Kylo. My least favorite part is that it didn't work with the trilogy. Oh, there you go.
That's how I feel.
Well,
That's how I feel, and that's been my whole argument from the get-go. Is it felt disconnected to me, and it did. And it's like you said, Ahmad. Like Like, what was the force behind Kylo? Like, what drove Kylo to the dark side? How did he seduce him? Like, that's my thing. And it's what we saw with 9. Like you just said, like, was he a clone? We didn't know till we read a book. Like, I shouldn't have to watch director commentary. I shouldn't have to read a book. I shouldn't have to deep dive to figure out what motivates characters in a film. Like,
and I will give Ahmad this too. He's right about this, because Darth Maul, who I just got done saying, who I think is one of the best fleshed out villains in Star Wars, in episode 1, what did everybody say after episode 1? Underutilized. Who is this guy?
Right.
And not till we got the Clone Wars. I agree with that. I do understand that. And I would love to be wrong and have them.
That's the thing, though, right? With all of the movies, we've had to have some supporting information in order to give. Why?
I said 4, 5, and 6. I mean, it was finished as was.
That's not true, because here's the thing, right? The other information is how the Death Star plans got found. That's additional information.
We had that for 40 years, and we were just like, we were okay with it. We were okay with 4, 5, and 6.
And that's not true either, because if that was the case, if that was the case, we would have not gotten Legend stuff, because people were still hungry for Star Wars. If everybody was content with, what's that?
I said, yeah, they were definitely hungry for more Star Wars.
Being
hungry for more of this shit that they have out. Sorry. Excuse me.
Being content and being hungry for something is two different things. Being hungry for something is like the reason that I wanted to dive deeper into Ahsoka's story. I want more of Ahsoka. That's why I wanted to read the book, and then I'm reaching out to the the writers. Like, I want more. It's because it's not because I'm not. Exactly, but it's I want a continuation of her. It has nothing to do with. I'm content with Ahsoka. I love that character, but that doesn't mean that I'm not hungry for more of Ahsoka.
Being content means that you're good. That's what being content.
No.
Yeah,
being
that is.
Means, it does. No. It does mean that you're good with it, but it doesn't mean that you wouldn't want more.
This is what I'm saying, right? If somebody asked me a question and I gave them an answer and they were content with my answer, they don't want any additional information from me.
All right, here we go. All right, Ahmad, I'm content with your first album. I don't want any more music. No, I love you. I want more music.
Because you're hungry for more music.
Ace Kennedy
right,
music.
So that you're not content. That's what I'm saying. You want more. If this is like when you're eating. If you were full and content, you're not going to eat anymore. You want more. You're still hungry. You're going to go get more.
That doesn't mean that I don't understand what the original was.
Jared, will you pull up Alex's last comment?
Hold on. The Senate acknowledges Shane.
Okay, will you pull up Alex's last comment? Because as much as I disagree with Rian Johnson's direction in this movie, I think if he writes the entire trilogy, we have 3 better movies.
I do.
Okay, I can't argue with that. My fault is not specifically with Rian Johnson; it's with the way they did this trilogy. So I agree with him. If they have any one person direct these 3 movies, it's better than what we got. But the way they did it didn't work. It wasn't good. It wasn't. It was fun. It was Star Wars, and I'm excited for it. And I've got a hell of a lot of money and toys and whatnot. Like, it worked for what Disney wanted. But you should not have to deep dive to find out important tidbits. At least when they stole the Death Star plans, they mention it in Star Wars. Hey, we lost a lot of people getting these plans. Yeah. At least they mention that they lost people getting the plans. In this one, they don't even mention that he's a damn clone. That's a pretty important point.
Right? But that's the thing, though. I agree with everything that you're saying, bro. I think that the fact that if JJ would have taken his whole, like, I'm glad JJ didn't have the whole thing, because I was disappointed with both of his movies. Again, I liked the movies. It's not that I hate them. I just feel like that I think Rian Johnson would have did a better job with the trilogy.
Joey,
you're muted, Joey.
Joey, you're muted.
Oh my gosh.
The Senate acknowledges Joey Wallace.
Sorry, I cursed earlier. I had to mute myself. I'm sorry. I apologize to all the young viewers out there. Slip of the tongue. What I was going to say is, the only other point, I'm sure I'll come up with another point, but right now the other point I was going to say is, for me, when I watched The Last Jedi, one of the big takeaways I took away from that movie was, it doesn't matter who you are, you can be a fill in the blank. You can be a Jedi. And that was the deal with Rey in that movie to me. Like, regardless if you liked it or what, to me, that was the takeaway. It was like, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be a nobody, and you can still be Rey, this incredibly powerful Jedi. And then, again, this isn't a problem with I guess, The Last Jedi. I guess it's more with the Rise of Skywalker, but they totally went against it. And it was like, now all of a sudden she's a Palpatine. And so, like, for me, one of the main takeaways for me, I'm not saying it was the main takeaway of the movie, but that was what I thought was a Disney-ish thing to do, was to say, it doesn't matter who you are, you can do it. And then to go to the last one and go, no, you got to be a Palpatine or a Luke or a Skywalker or something.
So I would like to give my closing address, and then I will be out. The defense will rest.
Oh, we haven't done that yet?
Okay, but hold on. Before we do that, I have one question before we do our final last thoughts. Okay, so the first time you watched The Last Jedi and you walked away, what did you feel? Before you had extra information, before any of that, what was your initial feeling with The Last Jedi, starting with Ace?
My initial thought was, whoa, what did I see? I cannot wait to see this again so I can digest it. That's what I thought.
Shane, what about you?
My initial thought was, wow, there were a lot of really cool scenes, but what in God's name happened to Luke Skywalker?
What about Justin? What about you, man?
I felt like I got to eat my cake before I ate my dinner. I enjoyed the visuals and I loved it. I really, really did. I really did love the visuals of it.
I totally agree.
Joey, what about you?
I went and saw it with Ace. Me and Ace sat by each other and watched this movie, and we both, I agree with him, it's kind of the same thing he said, but we both were like, we got to process this. I literally didn't get up going, wow, that's amazing. I'm so excited. I'm pumped. I'm amped. I literally was like, I got to process that. Me and Ahmad were just like, yeah, I just got to think about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so
hey, Ahmad, Ace, how much are you paying Alex to put these comments up?
I'm not paying him anything, man.
He's in your pocket, dude. He's in your pocket.
No, here's the thing.
I saw him in your feed. I saw how Last Jedi he was.
Well, see, here's the thing.
I thought it was a masterpiece of crap.
No, so in Alex's defense, one of the things when we did our rankings, Alex had The Last Jedi as number one, and I looked at him funny, like, what? Number one? But when I went back and did my research, I even told you all it's my number 3 movie now, and I think it's the best script in Star Wars. So I completely understand where he's coming from. But as far as my closing remarks for this,
hold on, I didn't get to say mine yet.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad, bro.
Okay, so I walked away from the movie. I liked it, but I disliked it enough that the first time I actually went back and watched it was 2 weeks ago when we decided we wanted to do the ranking of Star Wars.
Wow.
That's how much I disliked it. I stayed away from the movie personally. So
I saw it twice in the theater.
I saw it twice.
Yeah, I did too.
I watched it the fewest of any of the Star Wars movies since they've been in theaters and I've been alive.
Okay, so final thoughts. Start with Shane this time.
Yes.
Shane, final thoughts that you want to concede before we let the jury decide.
I feel like I've been very clear. It's Star Wars, and I love the fact that we get Star Wars. But I feel like this trilogy had no direction, and I think this was the poorest of the 3. I think everything they set up in 7, this film didn't do justice. Most of it threw out, a lot of it overlooked. It tried to be different for the sake of being different. And I don't think that's what you need in the middle of a trilogy. If this was its own film, I may feel differently about it. It takes some of the most beloved characters, or probably the most beloved character in Star Wars for me, other than Revan, and it doesn't do the justice that I felt that character deserved. I waited 40 years. I'm not that old. I waited most of my lifetime to see Luke Skywalker. I mean, and I get it. He's 60 something and he's not going to be jumping around doing flips and whatnot. But I wanted to see the Jedi Master. I wanted to see him impart his lifetime of wisdom to someone. And I feel like we didn't get that. And I felt cheated in this film. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is I felt cheated. And whatever. Ryan had his own direction. I don't enjoy his direction. It's Star Wars. I thank God that we get to talk about Star Wars and we get more of it. But if you're going to make a trilogy, have direction. Blame it on whoever you want. But JJ wrote scripts for 8 and 9. I haven't read them. So I can't tell you what they said. But Ryan threw it out and he wrote his own pile of garbage. And I just feel like Ryan wanted to be different. And Ryan brought in things that have never mattered in Star Wars. I don't care about spaceship fuel. I want to see those spaceships shoot each other. Okay? I don't care about casinos or convenience of plot. I don't care about any of that. I want to see a fun Star Wars movie. I think he had some of the best visual. I just feel it was totally executed.
Ace, what you got? Blow us away.
All right, so this is what I feel. I don't care whether you like the movie or whether you love the movie. I love the fact that we get to be Star Wars fans, and I love the fact that we get to have our own opinions about what we see. When it comes to The Last Jedi, I think it was some of the most incredible writing. I think that it finally took characters and gave them all arcs, which carried on within the last movie. I feel like that The Last Jedi finally humanized our most beloved character of Luke Skywalker, and we got to finally get to a point to where we could agree or we could see ourselves in Luke Skywalker. And one of the things that I did love about this movie was that it does tear down what we know to be as a Jedi and allows us to embrace what a great Jedi is. So with that, I think that The Last Jedi is my third favorite film in the entire franchise and the number one script in the Star Wars saga.
You're just going to throw out that it taught us a great Jedi? No!
Did I say anything? Did I say anything in your last statement, sir? Did I say anything in your last statement?
We're done. Are you not done?
Thank you. Thank you.
So were you finished, Ace?
Yes, I'm done. The defense.
Okay.
Rests.
Okay, so everybody that's still watching and hung out with us, what is your opinion? Who do you think won this conversation? Whether you like The Last Jedi or you hate The Last Jedi or you're okay with The Last Jedi, what is your opinion? Did Ace do a good job defending The Last Jedi, or did Shane do a good job at saying that it sucked on his side?
Ace did an amazing job defending a pile of crap. I mean, he did. I literally couldn't have done it. He's the main.
I'm going to tell you, if I ever go to where I'm going to need somebody to represent me, because I'm a piece of crap, I need Ace Kennedy on my team.
I'd hire him.
He's defending me.
Look at that suit. It's beautiful.
Hey, and let me just say, for people that are listening to the podcast and not watching us live, you're missing out on so much more.
Yeah, if
live.
This is what Michelle said. It's a hung jury.
It's not actually.
I have so many comments to that.
So do I.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
Only I can say something to that too.
Yes. Wait till we get off camera and I will tell you.
The internet is already ruled, and Last Jedi is a steaming pile.
Not wrong.
Let me tell you who really wins. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse wins because we're here talking about a movie that's been out for how many? 2018. What? 2 years now?
Yeah.
And we're still talking about it.
I mean,
in the end, cheers to Disney. They made the money.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey man, go ahead, Joe.
I'm excited for what's on the horizon. I can't be more excited. I really, really have high hopes for the High Republic era. I mean, Mandalorian.
So ready.
It's going to get better.
Right.
Mandalorian, as they fill in more of the gaps of the characters' arcs, it's going to get better. It's just going to get better. And by the way,
I'll take good points.
Porg apparently has a voice, guys. Don't drink too much.
Yes, Alex. 95% of the internet already had their mind made up before Ace started his.
I will say this though, man. I really enjoyed the fact that we got to break apart this movie. I really think that we need to, the DVD is already available for the Rise of Skywalker, and May the 4th, they will release it to Disney Plus. I think we need to break down The Last Jedi, man. I mean the Rise of Skywalker, and I think two of y'all need to do it. Me and Shane are out of this one.
All right, Justin, I'm against it. You're for it.
Here's what.
Okay.
Ace can sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves.
There you go.
Because I ain't defending 9 either. If I got to defend any of them,
I'll
I'll
find
pick 7. That's the only one I would defend.
That's the one you have to defend. Yeah.
Oh, Joey, ask your question that you asked me earlier. If you could hit reset or delete, what was it? What was the question?
I forget. It was something about like if you had the option, if they said, "Hey, Ahmad, you can completely get rid of this trilogy and do a new one," would you do it?
I would
The
revamp.
trilogy.
Yeah,
This
I would
new
revamp.
trilogy.
Yeah,
You would what?
I would revamp it.
Okay, that's
Like
awesome.
meaning that I would take certain ideas that they use, but I would alter some things. Like this is one thing, right?
Well, don't tell me. I don't want to know, because the fact that you said that just gives me all the credibility back to you for me. So I don't want to hear the reason. I love it.
I just wanted to say one thing, just one thing.
Okay.
So this is how they could have set up Luke Skywalker, right? Imagine being in the theater watching The Force Awakens, right? They're in the snow. Kylo just got shot by a bowcaster. Finn's laid out. The lightsaber flies, and Luke Skywalker catches the lightsaber, snatches both Rey and Finn up, and they get on the Falcon and dip. And then you start episode 8.
Not on an island cut off from the Force.
Yeah.
But JJ, again, that's JJ's fault. But
Hey,
all I'm saying is, because we would have got the exact same effect, just like in Avengers when the hammer flew across and Cap caught it. We would have we would have been tearing seats up out of the theater.
But I would say though, you could write that differently. Like easily, you could have started 8 with like Luke's been on the island learning a bunch of stuff, and now he's ready to go, and he's ready. He knows all about Mortis. He knows if we're going to Mortis, we're going to take care of this. Tied it all in, chosen ones, balance of the Force.
What if he went to study? What if he went off to study and didn't know what was going on, and they came to get him? Like it's so much.
Luke had to have known something, because he was looking for that same thing to get to where the Sith were. He knew that something was happening.
I still have a really hard time believing he wouldn't go help his sister, and he just wanted to pout.
He was
like,
ashamed. He was ashamed.
This whole trilogy was about the chosen one. If Kylo and Rey had a baby, that baby would be the balance of the Force. It would be half Palpatine, half Skywalker.
Done. Write it.
Boom.
The entire trilogy makes sense.
Does that make
end of series?
That makes her gray, right? Is that what you're saying? You put the two together.
She's already gray.
Yes, but
what if they already had a baby? It was Billy Bindu. He went to the other alternate time. He went back in time, and now that's who he is. He's been there the whole time.
I bet half people don't even know who Bindu is.
Part of the Illuminati.
Why aren't we writing these movies? Because whoever's doing it doesn't.
I'll tell you. Let me tell you who the baby is.
Don't say Baby Yoda. Rey's not Baby Yoda.
Let me tell you the
Who's the baby, Justin?
I wasn't going to say Baby Yoda. Kylo and Rey's baby is Babu Frick. That's it.
Hey! Joy Blanco.
All right, we went way over.
Yeah, I think we need to hang it up. We're done. I do have to say, both sides did a great job.
Please.
Ace, Shane, both of you took a lot of time. I know y'all did a great job with what you did. It was not easy. I get that, because I was scared when you guys said you guys got to do it next time.
Yeah, I don't want to bar this again.
You guys kiss each other real quick on the screen. Kiss each other.
I love you.
Yeah, give him a high five.
No,
High five.
Give him a kiss.
Other way.
kiss
Other
him.
way.
I can't think
There we go.
Kiss him. Give him a kiss.
Me and Justin got it. Justin, how about
that suit? So, no, I mean, I enjoyed it,
You're
guys.
too far away.
I enjoyed it, but I love Ace. Like, I love his opinions. Me and him talk off camera all the time. I love this stuff, man. I love his opinions, and I don't hate it as much as I pretend to hate it. So,
And at the end of the day, we all do love each other. We're good friends. So,
yeah.
But I definitely have to say, as the final judge ruling, I feel like Ace did a great job with everybody piling on him. So
easy out? We know that Ace's awful. But now, if you ask me,
I'm being completely unbiased, though. So I'm just going by what was thrown out there. He did a great job defending his points.
The only guy that showed up in a suit.
here's the real question. Which one's worse, 8 or 9? Because I think I might say 9. It's all about ending.
9 is the worst for me.
That will be for another podcast because we need to cut this off. I think, guys, thank you for hanging out with us, and
Guys,
we are the Marauders. Go for it. What
are we? I don't know what we are. I'm laggy. I'm the Marauder that is always behind.
Justin the laggy.
Make sure everybody goes and checks out merch. There's going to be a lot of crazy sales going on for Star Wars stuff. It's really good. If you're into games, we're going to be doing some. I'm going to be doing some live stream of some Star Wars games. I'll put it up on our deal. Let y'all know when I'm doing that. But
yes, that is another thing we got going on. We are going to do an extra podcast next week on May the 4th. May the 4th be with you, because that's what we're going to do. And we are going to make sure that you get a good link to watch Joey play in the Fallen Jedi Order. Fallen Order.
I've been waiting for this day for it to go on sale to play it. I've watched all these videos. But I don't know the story. I'm waiting. I'm going to play it all the way through.
I'm going to be live streaming Star Wars game from my Game Boy Advance over dial-up, so it'll be awesome. You can find me in the AOL chat room. My name is Jedi Knight 1.
That ridiculous noise.
You got mail.
Anyways, so yeah, we got those things. I know Joey is still doing Friday nights with Melvin. Be sure to catch those things. Ace and Charles have the Slash Brothers podcast. Y'all already did yours this week, right?
We're doing another one tomorrow. We're working on doing two a week.
Okay, so there will be 2 a week. There is still the one on the normal Friday night. So make sure to go watch that. And we are the Marauders. Thank you guys. We love you. Hopefully you're with us next week.
Hey,
May the 4th. May the 4th. Catch us.
So about Guido on this.
Maybe